Yes, people, we're live. Oh, feels like I ain't stopped today, man. Literally got up this morning, show in London, filming all day, come back, this is London, and then the news breaks. The Aaron Ramsdale, not just Aaron Ramsdale news, there's loads of news breaking all over. We're going to be trying to make some form of sense of it. So big up to everyone that's here. Big up for everyone who has joined me in the last minute stream. I did not plan this show. I did not advertise it. I did not promote it. So big up to everyone that's been here to talk all things Arsenal. I want to go through some of the tweets. I want to go through some of the news. I want to talk some of the transfer news. But actually, what I want to do as well is I want to get your questions, man. I want you to let me know what your thoughts are of this crazy window, which is only literally open for another 48 hours or so. We need to be diving into this and getting an understanding of what the hell is going on. Arsenal are leaving it late, and that's no big surprise. That's for sure. So we're going to be talking about that. Big up to everyone. Please make sure you do me a favor. Please hit the like button. Please make sure you subscribe to the channel. Please make sure you hit the join button if you would like to be a member. Go and show Manscaped some love. Manscaped.com. The beard hedger is 20% off using the code FTM20. So please make sure that you go and get yourself one of those. Wow. What is happening at Arsenal? It does seem like we are having a bit of a clear out. We're going to discuss the potential whereabouts of some of these players. It looks as if we are selling players. Surely we're not being foolish enough to leave ourselves this short. Surely we are preparing for a huge signing. Surely in the next 2 days, something is going to make sense. We're all going to be able to sit there on this stream and explain why we were doing X, Y, and Z. Why are we making room? Why are we making this much room? Why are we trying to get rid of so many players in the last few days? Hopefully it's because somebody is coming in around the corner, or maybe it's more than one. I still think we need more than one. I kind of feel like we're a little bit short, people. We're going to be talking about who's going. We're going to be talking about who we think might be coming in, and talks about the confirmed news. So buckle up, because the next 2 days is going to be a madness. Big up to all of you that's in. 200 of you, or over 200 of you already joining us. Please make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Big up to everyone that's here that would like to ask a question. Please make sure you do me a favor and do what Snapper Bread has done here and put a cue like this at the start. I'm not going to do that question now. We are going to wait for questions, but please make sure that you put your questions in. And super chats are really important because they will go to the front of the queue. Won't be able to read out everybody's questions, but super chats you'll definitely be able to. Hybrid Squad, big up to Sophie. Hope you are well. I saw your show earlier with Kyle. Make sure that you do go check that out, people. They've just hit 16,000 subscribers, which is a madness. The work they're putting in is incredible over there. So please make sure that we do that. Ramsdale was worth 50 million just a year ago. Well, there's only one person to blame for that. He has been sold, and we are going to discuss that very, very shortly. So please make sure that you do me a favor and hit the like button and put a question into the chat room. I want to know where you're at. I want to know what your thoughts are all about. What is happening with Arsenal Football Club and this transfer window? Big up to all of you. Right, let's go through what has been a crazy last couple of hours as far as Aaron Ramsdale is concerned. It does look like it is goodbye. Aaron Ramsdale looking to leave the club. Now, it did report a few hours ago now by Sky Sports that Southampton had agreed a fee with Arsenal to sign Aaron Ramsdale on a permanent transfer. Now, when I was actually heard this news, when it broke, I was actually with Lee Judges and Sam, and we basically spoke about this. I thought that's going to be a loan with an obligation to buy, and if Southampton go down, then it'll be a nightmare because they won't be able to afford it, blah, blah, blah. When I got home, I actually read that they had actually bid. So this is for a permanent transfer. And I actually thought, you know what, fair play. £25 million we signed him for 3 seasons ago. Since then, he has had 2 fantastic seasons with Arsenal, going for Champions League and a title. And last season, yes, it was a title race. Can you say that he contributed? Yeah, but not much. But after that, we should be easily trying to sell a goalkeeper of that quality who we signed for 25 million at the age of 26 for a lot more than what we bought him for. But it doesn't look like the interest has been from it. Now, I look at it and I think, how can some of these clubs do it? How can Chelsea go and let players go? They've got 30 million for Lukaku. How can players from Manchester City leave for unbelievable prices? Players from Liverpool over the years, they've done an absolute madness, and Chelsea continue to do it. When it comes to Arsenal, it is very, very frustrating. Trust me. I get it. I understand why people are annoyed. I understand why people are frustrated by it. But when the clubs are not interested in the players, it's very, very hard. If you want to go and sell a player and say, if anyone would like to come and talk to this player, please do. But then everyone sort of says, nah, I don't really think I do want to speak to the player. He's not that great. You then have to be realistic about how much he's going to be worth. Let's just say it how it is. This manager gets a hell of a lot of credit. And most of the time when he does stuff right, I'm there with you guys. But he's balls this one up. He's balls this one up big time. He's devalued Aaron Ramsdale. He was a 40 or 50 million pound goalkeeper, according to what people have said in the chat. Sophie brought it up. 100% agree with that after the title race we had. But when you get told you're no longer a number one, you're on the bench, you devalue that goalkeeper by probably 10 million straight away by him sitting on the bench. And then throughout the whole of that season, because you don't take domestic cup seriously, he doesn't get game time. Therefore, he's not played for the whole of the year. So no one's going to go, I tell you what, we'll give you that 50 million. He sat on the bench and ain't done nothing. But I think he's worth it. He ain't worth it anymore. He's worth 30 million probably, if I'm honest. We've got 25. Now, it doesn't look like we have got 25 yet, but we could get 25. And a few people have messaged me saying, what a disgrace, we're selling Aaron Ramsdale for 18 million. Yeah, it's 18 million, which could rise to 25 million, which I think is crazy money, right? He's going to be travelling and undergoing a medical and sign his contract tomorrow, according to Sam reports. Arsenal have a sell-on clause inserted in the deal. So if he does go, then obviously we get a bit of money back. Then Fabrizio Romano tweets out, Arsenal have sold Aaron Ramsdale to Southampton. Here we go. £25 million fee, including add-ons. Now, it turns out it's an £18 million fee, including add-ons. I thought when I heard that from Romano that it was £25 million plus the add-ons to take it closer to 30. So let's be real. It's a bit of a stinky deal. We haven't got a lot of money, but we've got probably the most that we could get out of it. There was no other teams at the moment that were interested in him. So I have to say, I'm not massively keen on this. I'm not going to say this is a masterstroke by Edu or Arteta. I think it's quite the opposite. I think we've potentially done quite a lot of bad when it comes to this goalkeeping scenario. I was never a fan of how it was dealt with. I was for David Raya coming in. I remember when we signed him, I thought, this is good. This is allowing Ramsdale to, not make a mistake because Raya's right behind him. I didn't think he'd be dumped out the team and Raya would be put in and we'd never see or hear of him again. And now he's gone over to a relegation team. I never thought that would be the case. But you know what? I think what it does is it shows the human being that Aaron Ramsdale is. That Aaron Ramsdale is not the arrogant type to go, I ain't going to Southampton. I'm at Arsenal. I ain't going down there. He's happy to go backwards in his career to go, do you know what? Maybe I need to start again. I'm 26 years old. Maybe there's a lot I've learned here. Maybe there's a lot I can learn still down there. And maybe I start again. What would be frustrating is if he goes and gets relegated with Southampton to add to his Chesterfield relegation, Sheffield United relegation, and Bournemouth relegation. But for me, I think we have to say big up to Aaron Ramsdale on fair play. He was never going to be the number one at Arsenal when Arteta was still there. What Arteta should have done is he should have said, you know what, Aaron, I'm selling you. What? I've just gone for a title with you. I want to go and win another title. Yeah, but you're no longer my number one and you're going to have to sit on that bench. So we're going to sell you for as much money as we can. Get the Chelseas, the Newcastles, maybe even some of the other clubs that aren't even interested now that might have been back then interested. And we're going to sell you. And I think it would have worked out much better that way. But he's tried to be clever. He's tried to say that he has two number one goalkeepers and it ain't worked out. So what that's done is it's devalued Aaron Ramsdale's kind of potential value, I suppose. I don't know that he was ever worth £50 million. I think that's a little bit extreme. But he was definitely worth closer to 40 than closer to 30. That's for sure. He's a goalkeeper at 26 who should be the England number one in my opinion. I think he's better than Pickford. But he's a player who has now been replaced. And he was never going to want to stay. You could see how unhappy he was. You could see he was coming in at cup games, making mistakes, nervous. I think he felt the pressure as much as David Raya, if not more. I don't think he felt that he was treated fairly. We know by speaking to Nick Ramsdale and the Caroline how they do not believe that he was treated fairly and that it was a ruthless game. But unfortunately, when you get to this level of elite sport and you are competing at the very, very top, you kind of have to be ruthless. And I think what people have struggled with this one is because of their love for Aaron Ramsdale. When it happens to Nun Tavares or Lokonga, we're like, yeah, whatever. It's actually the same thing. It's just the fact that Aaron Ramsdale is a player that we all loved and connected with. And I think that's complementary to him. Because for me, he needed to be a player that found his feet and found home. And I think he did at Arsenal. I don't think he wanted to go. I don't think he wanted to be the number 2 and then go and fight for his place. I think there's potentially something there with Aaron Ramsdale kind of feeling a bit gutted. But without speaking to him, I'll never know. I can only just go by what I felt and what I saw. Now, there are some people in the chat, and you can see them here, that don't rate Aaron Ramsdale. Think he was useless, think he was no good, think we were going nowhere with him. I think that's incredibly harsh. I don't think he's useless. I don't think we weren't going anywhere with him. It certainly wasn't a position I looked at and thought, we've got to get rid of him. He's a clowning goal. I remember 4, maybe 5, maybe even 6 or 7 world-class saves in the last 2 years that Aaron Ramsdale made. You can look at ones at Villa that kept us in the game. You can look at them at Bournemouth that kept us in the game. Without that Reece Nelson screamer at the end, if it wasn't for Aaron Ramsdale, we wouldn't have won that game. Then I look at what he did when I was there live at the King Power. That is one of the best saves I will ever see from a free kick from Maddison. And then I look at the save that he made in the Liverpool game at Anfield, where we're going for that title. It looked incredible. And I thought, wow, we ain't going to replace him, are we really? Then, of course, Raya comes in, makes those mistakes. Everybody's thinking, what's happening here? Why is he a huge upgrade? Well, definitely, I can tell you this. There are attributes Raya has that Aaron Ramsdale does not. I do not look at David Raya still at this moment and go, whoa, levels above Ramsdale. I would say he's better all round. I wouldn't say he's levels. He's nowhere near the level of Ederson or Alisson. He's definitely not better than Emi Martinez, in my opinion. But he's a good goalkeeper. That's for sure. And in the last 2 games, he's been very good. Very, very good. So he's clearly our number 1 now. But what does this mean? Aaron Ramsdale is leaving. It paves the way for another goalkeeper. Now, I don't know what's happening in the goalkeeper scenario, but there are rumours, believe it or not, I'm being serious when I say this, there are rumours that we are looking at 2 goalkeepers. Yes, 2 goalkeepers. One homegrown youngster and another that's going to come in as the backup. So Fabrizio Romano suggests that Arsenal are now prepared to make a move to sign the Espanyol goalkeeper Juan Garcia in the next 24 hours. This is no shock. He's been linked with us for a long time. It looked like we were trying to find a club for Aaron Ramsdale, and then we were going to announce that we were going for Juan Garcia. This does not surprise me. What do I know about him? Not very much. In fact, very little. Is Juan Garcia going to be an upgrade on Aaron Ramsdale? Absolutely not. Is he going to come in and cover for David Raya? Yes. And I don't believe that Juan Garcia will actually play much. I really don't. I think it could be a very interesting scenario. So what am I about with Juan Garcia? I think that there is a lot of pressure when he's coming in. But at the same time, I think we've kind of gone back now to a scenario where we've potentially got a Ramsdale Matt Turner scenario. That's what I think we're at. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm saying it's more of a realistic thing. Because personally, that goalkeeper scenario now, the department in goal is definitely weaker than it was last season. Because although Ramsdale did make mistakes when he came in, when he come in, he's a goalkeeper that's adequate cover, that's Premier League proven, that's Premier League quality. When you look at Juan Garcia coming in, I don't know what this guy's going to be like. And I have to say it, guys. I have to be really brutally honest here. I don't trust Arteta and Edu when it comes to goalkeepers. Why? Because we've had 9 of them. 9. We've just signed Tommy Setford. We've got Juan Garcia. We've had Matt Ryan, Matt Turner, Runnison, Leno, Emi Martinez. There's another guy that I've missed as well. on top of Raya and Ramsdale. That's 9. There's 9 goalkeepers we've had in the reign of Mikel Arteta. Why does he need 9 goalkeepers? And all 8 of them have been worse than Emi Martinez. So let's be real. I don't trust this these people when it comes to goalkeepers. I really don't. So I'm not too sure about what's happening there. But Juan Garcia is the guy that we are after. Now, it isn't just him, because apparently we are also after another goalkeeper. And it's crazy to think, isn't it, that we might actually get 2 goalkeepers in before the window shuts. It's mad, but hear me out. I'm not lying. We've been linked with Dan Bentley before. Tommy Setford will come in and be that homegrown quota. But Arsenal are now exploring a deal to sign the Wigan goalkeeper Sam Tickle. Anyone know who that is? Anybody have a clue who he is? He's 22 years old. The club have been seeking a goalkeeper with homegrown status to join the first team, with Sam Tickle along with Wolves' Dan Bentley now under consideration. We're going to get one of these two, and he's going to come in as the third choice goalkeeper. Tommy Setford's going to be the fourth choice or the academy goalkeeper, and it will be 2 goalkeepers coming in at Arsenal within the next 24 to 48 hours. That is a madness. What is going on here? Now, I'll tell you what's going on. With Eddie Nketiah going, with Reece Nelson wanting out, with Smith Rowe leaving, there's potential that we might not have enough young English players. And the young English talent we might have to look at is now going to be the homegrown quota. So when you go into the Champions League, you need a certain amount of homegrown players. Now, we've got some, Saka, Declan Rice, but some of them that are leaving, Ramsdale being one, and some of the others I've mentioned, we might now have to look at the potential for some homegrown players. So you look in our team and you think, we need about 4 or 5. We haven't actually got that many. Obviously, Ethan Nwaneri will be one. Lewis Skelly, I'm sure, will be one. Ben White, Bukayo Saka. I think Martinelli might actually class as a homegrown one now because he's been here for so long. So goalkeepers are the way forward. And it looks now as if one of the homegrown quotas will be Dan Bentley, who's been sniffing around for a long time now, the Wolves goalkeeper. Or it might be that we go and get Sam Tickle. So I don't know which goalkeeper we're going to get. Potentially, it will be Juan Garcia and one of Bentley or Tickle. I don't know which one we're going for, but we're linked with both of them. It's an absolute madness. But this is where we're at right now. This is where we're at. What is happening when it comes to goalkeepers? Well, Ramsdale's out. Raya's number 1. Garcia looks to be number 2. And the number 3 goalkeeper that's going to come in will probably be Dan Bentley or Sam Tickle. I don't know which one we're going to go for, but it looks like one of those is coming in as well. So that's 2 players we're going to have coming in. I look at the defensive department. It doesn't look like Jacob Kivior is going to go to Serie A, but there are rumours suggesting that there are clubs that want him. I would just keep him now as cover. I think we need centre-back cover. I don't think we've actually got that much. I think there's only really 3 centre-backs at the club, if I'm honest with you, and that's Gabriel and Saliba. Kivior is your 3rd. Calafiori is probably your 4th. And then the rest of them can play there, like Timber, Ben White, Tomiyasu. But really, with the signing of Calafiori and Timber returning from injury, defensively, the department's fine. And in fact, I'd say that he's pretty much completed it now, Mikel Arteta. We go into the midfield and it's looking a lot stronger with the signing of Mikel Merino. Defensively, we're fine. We've got 3 players that can stay in the 6. Jorginho, Partey and Rice. And both of them can play in a double pivot. All of them can. Then when you look at Mikel Merino, a proper 8, but can play in a double pivot, to be fair to him. But definitely has some abilities and attributes that go forward. I think aerial ability is there. I think his strength's there. His physical power and presence is there. I think at 28, he shows some experience and leadership. Took the armband for Real Sociedad a few times, was in midfield with Zubamendi. And let's be real, a player that knows Ødegaard very, very well and played alongside him at Real Sociedad. But if Ødegaard does get injured, we still don't really have cover because Fabio Vieira and Smith Rowe have gone. It means Ethan Nwaneri will be promoted. So therefore, he can then come in and cover for Ødegaard. And Kai Havertz will probably be dropped into that number 10 role if Ødegaard wasn't to be there. On the left, we've got Trossard and Martinelli. And then on the right, at the moment, it's Saka and Nelson. And up top, it's Havertz and Jesus. So where are we short? It's quite clear. We're short on the right-hand side and we're short up top. And these are the 2 positions we've got to try and get sorted out. There are reports, and there's nothing suggesting any reports have come out in the last few hours, but there has been some recently today that I've saw that were quite loosely linking Reece Nelson with a move to Fulham, and West Ham were apparently still interested in him. Will something happen there? Will Reece Nelson leave Arsenal in the next 48 hours? I would suggest if a loan with an obligation comes in that he might do. For whatever reason, Leicester pulled out. Maybe it was because Arsenal were demanding too much. We're not going to get 25 million for Reece Nelson, people. We're not going to. If we got 18 million with add-ons for Ramsdale and we managed to get 25 and 35 for Smith Rowe, we are not getting anything more than 15 to 20 million for Reece Nelson tops. And that will be a loan of an obligation, I'm sure. Maybe Fulham are interested. Maybe West Ham feel like they need another winger. I'm not sure they do, and they've got Bowen, Kudus, and Somerville, but maybe they feel like they want another one. But for me, Fulham, potential. Smith Rowe maybe has had a word. Maybe he has. So why don't you bring Reece as well? He's available. But for me, when I look at it right now, yeah, I kind of feel like Reece might need first team football. Now, there's a lot of people I've spoken to today that are like, Reece can't go. We've got no one else. And I kind of understand why people look at that way. We need to bring 2 players in if Reece Nelson goes because we're really quite short. When you look at the bench against Aston Villa, I was okay in the defensive area. We had Ramsdale on the bench in goal, which we've spoken about, which will now change to Garcia if he comes on. Then we look into it and say, when we get to the potential of defence, we've got Timber, we've got Calafiori, we've got Zinchenko, we've got Tomiyasu. In midfield, we've got Jorginho and Partey that can back up Declan Rice and Ethan Nwaneri that looks very promising. But after that, it starts to dry up now, people. We've got Gabriel Jesus, when fit, who's currently injured, that can come on and do a job. We've also got Trossard or Martinelli. When one of them starts, one of them's on the bench. But then we're really struggling. There's no more Eddie to fling on. There's no more Fabio Vieira or Smith Rowe to bring on. And there's potentially no more Reece Nelson if he was to go as well. So where else are we short? Well, we're short in 2 positions. And I said, if Reece Nelson goes and Eddie Nketiah goes, we need to replace them. On top of that, Fabio Vieira and Smith Rowe have gone. Now, you can say that Ethan Nwaneri has been promoted and Lewis Skelly has, so perhaps one of those positions is covered. And we weren't really using Fabio Vieira anyway. I hear that. I can hear that. But we need 2 players to come in now, and it needs to be a wide man and a forward. And I don't know if we're going to be doing that. But let me tell you this. If we're making clear outs and clear outs and clear outs for players, something's happening. We are definitely not going into this season, which is so close to being title contenders / winners, without getting an attacker in other than Havertz and Jesus when Jesus is sitting on the injury table already. Trossard, Martinelli, Saka, all versatile. Saka can play right and left. Martinelli can play right, top and left. Trossard can play right, top and left. Jesus can play right and left and probably up top, left and right as well. But I don't want players that can just play everywhere. I actually want people in set positions. This is what we need, right? So I can't get there behind this and say that we're in a position where we do not need a striker. People wind me up when they say that. If Jesus is on the injury table, it takes Havertz to get an injury, a knock, or a suspension, and we've got no striker. We're having to play Trossard up there or Martinelli up there again. It's fine saying that, but when you're going for a title, you need strength in depth. And when people say, well, he'll just go there, who's then coming on from the bench? Oh, Havertz will play there if Erdegaard's got a knock. Who's up top then? Trossard. Who's going to come off the bench? Martinelli. No, he's starting on the left because Havertz is in the 10 and Trossard's up top. Oh, yeah. What Saka we've still got? Yeah, but who do we bring on from the bench? No one. So trust me, we are short. I think we need 2 players. I don't know who they're going to be. We can go and talk about players that are available, but I'm kind of getting bored of that now. I think we know who's out there. One player who's definitely not going to be coming to Arsenal, though, is, of course, Nico Williams. It looks as if this deal is definitely not happening. And it was one that we were all getting excited about because we want it to happen so badly. He's a player that would excite us, right? But it looks as if Di Marzio has said that this is not going to be happening. Nico Williams will be staying at Athletic Bilbao. He's decided to stay for another year minimum. There's no chance that he'll leave in the coming days. Unfortunately, Arsenal, we have to now go for another option. Who is that other option? Who do you want as the wide man? Well, if I'm honest with you, if it isn't Nico Williams, I've wanted Eze for a while. Because what Eze actually does is it gives you cover and competition for 3 positions. He can play right wing. He can play left wing. He's done it for England and for Palace. He can play in the attacking 10, like Erdegaard. And believe it or not, he can play in the attacking 8, left 8, like Marino or Rice has done. This is the perfect signing. This is absolutely perfect. So for me, it has to get done. If it's not going to happen because his release clause couldn't be activated now, it's now expired, it's going to cost us 75 million now plus to get him out of Palace. There's no way he's going to be leaving Palace for less than that, in my opinion now. Maybe with the 60 to 68 that we could have got him for in the release clause, that's now expired. So is that going to happen? I'm not so sure. The other options, Yilmaz, the guy from Club Bruges, potentially a Dingra from Brighton, potentially Leroy Sané or Serge Gnabry. The one that keeps coming up at the moment is, of course, Kingsley Coman. Now, Coman's a player who we were actually linked with for quite a while, not too long back. It was a player that a lot of people thought that could potentially happen. It's a player that a lot of people said we were going to be sniffing around. Dharmesh Sheth has reported that actually there is a Premier League team that are in for him. Is it Arsenal? I actually have no idea, if I'm honest with you. I have no idea. We were linked not too long ago, but it looks now as if, according to Dharmesh Sheth at Sky Sports, a couple of hours ago, an unnamed Premier League club have explored the conditions of a deal for Kingsley Coman. Now, Kingsley Coman to Arsenal could be on, but I tell you what, I do not want him, and I'll tell you why I don't want him. Injuries. The guy has played about 17 games in the last 5 or 6 months. It's not good. When you look at what he did last season, he was out for most of March, April, and May. I don't like the player because he's not available enough. And the best ability is availability. We already have injury-prone players at the club. I don't want another one coming in. I don't think Coman, as much as I do think he's great experience, has won everything in the game, coming into Arsenal and sitting on the bench. He's way too injury-prone. So for me, I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure. That's not one that I get excited about, if I'm honest. It isn't. But listen, Fabio Vieira has gone. He's the number 10 at Porto. Looks as if that could potentially be a position that we're potentially weaker in. But I have to say this. I didn't think Fabio Vieira was a fantastic player for Arsenal. I said he was weak. I said he was lightweight. And I said he wasn't suited to the league. And now he's gone. Listen, people, there's almost 1,000 of you in the building. Do me a favor and hit the like button because we have only hit 184 likes. Please do me a favor. Hit that like button now. Just tap it, smash it, caress it, batter it, punch it, do whatever you want to do. But make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. We're getting very close to 30k people. You lot are absolutely mad. So please do me a favor. Hit the like and the subscribe button. And please do join the channel as a member if you do want to do that. Next to the like and subscribe button, you'll see join and you're able to do that there. So just follow the instructions. Thank you so much. I'm going to do some super chats, some questions in a minute. But before I do that, I just want to touch on a couple of other bits of news. In the last couple of hours, it's been reported that Arsenal have been closely following Juan Garcia for months. And this is on the recommendation of the goalkeeping coach in Arkikana, who views him as an elite goalkeeper. Espanyol will not entertain any offers below 30 million release clause. So that's probably around about 22 million pounds, something like that, that we are looking at potentially going to have to be putting in. So yeah, do not worry, people. Super chats will not be missed. Questions will not be missed. I'll get through as much as I can. So please make sure that you do put anything that you want answered in there or asked in there. And we'll try and get it into the stream. Look, the goalkeeping scenario is this. We're going to basically replace Aaron Ramsdale's money with Juan Garcia. We're downgrading and we're going to have to spend about the same amount of money. So the goalkeeping situation is not ideal, right? It ain't. Let's just be real. It just is not. Some news relating to Arsenal that I would like to bring up. It is not to do with transfers, but it is quite interesting. Is the news that's broke about the England squad that's going to be announced. According to Sammy Muckbell, it's understood that Ben White has not expressed a change in stance in representing England. Since Gareth Southgate and Steve Holland's departure, it's the expectation that he'll not be included in Lee Carsey's first team squad on Thursday. So it does not look like Ben White is interested in playing for England. Maybe it wasn't Gareth Southgate or Steve Holland after all. His well-placed sources have indicated Ben White remains nonplussed about adding to his 4 England caps and restarting his international career. It's not a compelling prospect, as many feel it is. So listen, it might. I still think there's something that's gone on with Gareth Southgate and Steve Holland. I don't quite know what it is, but potentially Ben White might have come back, but he's now saying, "Nah, do you know what? Not interested. Not interested." Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Okay, let's take some questions, people. Let's take some questions. Let's start with the super chats because, of course, they go to the front of the queue. This one comes in from Nicholas. Big up, mate. Hope you're well. Thank you for the super chat, mate. He says, Nunez wouldn't be my first choice, but the blistering pace is missing from our starting front line. Do you know what? You're absolutely right. And that's the only thing that Darwin Nunez brings is absolute pace. He causes havoc. He causes chaos. But this is definitely a fake rumor. We are not linked with Darwin Nunez. I can't see it anywhere. Yesterday, I'm sure it was a joke. People were losing their heads about it, meltdowns, everything. I was one of them. I was one of them. I do not want Darwin Nunez here at all. I do not think he's good enough at all. But yeah, I understand that he can bring certain attributes to the game. But in front of goal, he's not a killer. And that's what we need. In fact, he's awful in front of goal. But big up for the super chat, Nicholas. I do appreciate it. The next super chat we've got in is Ibi. Says we need someone to Photoshop attackers like Osimhen with keeper kits to trick Edu and Arteta into signing them. Just make them believe they're keepers. Do you know what is mad? Because they do have a fetish with goalkeepers. It is so strange. I do not understand why we have so many goalkeepers. Literally 9 goalkeepers that we've had since Arteta and Edu have been in charge. Oh my God. Why do we need that many? Absolutely crazy. But there we go. A little bit of news actually as well on Victor Osimhen, because obviously we're going to be talking soon about strikers. Who do we think we're bringing in? Who do we think we're going to be getting? Fabrizio Romano has suggested that Osimhen doesn't look like it's Arsenal. Plan is revealed now. Al Halil, a delegation, has arrived in Italy for direct talks with Osimhen and his camp. The contract is on the table with a release clause as Osimhen wanted. Chelsea in active talks with Osimhen on the salary. Al Halil deal only happens if Chelsea talks collapse. So it does look like Chelsea are massively keen. They understand that Chelsea and Al Ali are remaining as the 2 clubs in active talks for Victor Osimhen. They're still trying to convince Osimhen after agreement of €65 million package with Napoli. Chelsea is still attentive as contacts are ongoing. Separate story from Sancho. No bid from PSG. So Osimhen is probably going to be picking between Chelsea and the Saudi Pro League. If I'm honest with you, the Ivan Toney rumours suggest that perhaps he will be looking towards Saudi. That could be a very interesting one. If he is going to be looking towards Saudi, then of course he'll definitely be one that I think Chelsea will be getting. Ivan Toney, sorry, I forgot his name. So yeah, doesn't look like Arsenal are in for Toney. Doesn't look like Arsenal are in for Osimhen. Certainly Arsenal not in for any of the shock names that potentially we'd be looking at. Are we paving the way for a big, massive move for Alexander Isak? Are we paving the way for a massive move that might be someone we haven't even spoken about yet? Victor Gyökeres is a guy that we've not spoken about and that we haven't been linked with for a while. Or are we going to take a punt on someone random? Are we going to look at somebody like Evan Ferguson from Brighton, for example? Are we going to look at something like that? I really don't know, guys. It's a massive question mark. Are we going to go and do a madness and bring in a winger that we think, wow, I didn't expect that winger to come in? Is it going to go and be Kvaratskhelia, somebody mad like that? Are we going to be looking at going over to Brighton and say, do you know what, we'll take a Dingra and Evan Ferguson off of your hands? I have no idea what's going on. I really don't. All I can do is share the information and give my thoughts. But I think we do need 2 players now. I really do. I think it's going to be very, very difficult for us to leave it this late and be this short. But Arsenal always leave themselves short. This is nothing new. This is nothing new. It really isn't. Keep throwing your super chats in. Keep throwing your questions in. We will definitely 100% be chatting to you guys. And I want to know what your thoughts are for sure. Snapper Bread says, Dan, do you have any advice for anyone who wants to start a YouTube channel like yourself? What software do you use? Thanks and keep up the good work. really simply, mate, I don't want to go on this too long, but I will definitely 100% answer you. All I say is big up and be brave enough to start it. Be confident in yourself. And when you start a YouTube channel, don't look at the views. Don't look at the subs. Look at your content. Don't worry about no one watching it. Don't worry about only getting a few views. Don't worry about looking at what everyone else is doing. Just look at your own content. Make sure you're consistent. Make sure you work hard and you're willing to put the work in, and you can do it, mate. If it's about football, if it's about music, if it's about talent that you believe you have, if it's about fashion brand or clothing that you're into, if it's about workouts for gym or personal training, anything on YouTube you feel that you would be able to put out content for that people would like, make sure you're consistent with it. If you want to use a streaming platform, I use StreamYard, which is really good. And obviously YouTube and StreamYard connect together. And that's how I do it. And that's how I've done it for the last few years, man. So honestly, please do keep it up, and big up to you, man. And good luck to yourself. I really mean that, because it is very, very difficult. Okay, this one comes in. It says, is this a panic sale, Dan? I'm not so sure it's a panic sale. I think it's players that have wanted to leave. I think it's us trying to find the right price for these players. We're trying to find a home for Reece Nelson for the right money. We're trying to find Eddie Nketiah money. We're trying to get Ramsdale money. We're trying to get Smith Rowe a home. I just feel we've left it very, very late. Very, very late. And I just kind of feel like there's an opportunity for us to go and do some business, but it is taking some time, and we really have left it lastminute.com. Big up to Elliot in the chat, man. Yeah, need to get you on again, my bro. Big up, man. Looking forward to working with you again soon. Yeah, of course, man. You know where we're at. We'll definitely be doing a Tuesday night show. We'll get you on, my bro, and definitely want to get you involved for sure. Let's take a look at this one from Femi. Hope you're well, bruv. Says, do you think we can get a long-term attacker that's not going to be a panic buy? Yes, I think we can. I do not really understand why people believe that we can't get a striker in that isn't a panic buy. Ivan Toney would not be a panic buy. Neither would Victor Osimhen. Neither would Victor Gyökeres. There's 3 strikers out there. Alexander Isak wouldn't be a panic buy. Now, if they're all available, brilliant. You go for Isak. If Isak isn't available, you go for Gyökeres. And then I think you go for Toney and Osimhen after that. That's the way I see it. So no, I don't think it would be a panic buy. Let me just get a couple of these started because there's a few questions here. Where are we? Yeah, I think we're good for questions. Okay, let's move to the next one then, shall we? This is coming from Ash. Hope you're well, bruv. Big up to yourself, regular listener. Make sure you do me a favor. If you hit the like button and subscribe and hit the join button, then you can become a member of the channel should you wish to. Almost 1,000 of you in here, man. Absolutely amazing tonight. It's brilliant numbers. So please make sure you do me a favor and hit that like button. Ash says, do you know much about this Garcia? We're getting in to replace Ramsdale. I've never heard of Garcia. I'm gutted about Ramsdale, especially the price. Yeah, a lot of people are. A lot of people are massively upset about the price. I blame the manager for that, if I'm honest, because we've devalued him. I really believe that. And I'm a massive fan of what Arteta has done with bringing in the goalkeeper of Aaron Ramsdale and the goalkeeper of David Raya. But he's messed this one up completely when it comes to trying to sell Ramsdale because he's completely devalued him. So to be fair, unfortunately, no one was ever going to be able to be coming in and going, do you know what? That Ramsdale, I'll give you 50 million. No one's going to do that, Ash. That's the problem we've got, bruv. That is the problem that we've got. Let's take the next question, shall we? This one comes in from James. James Bond says, Dan, is Ramsdale better than Ortega or Kelleher? And what's the value of those goalkeepers? That's a really good question. He's definitely better than Kelleher. I don't think he's better than Ortega, you know. I think Ortega is one of the best backup goalkeepers around. I'm surprised he's still a backup goalkeeper, if I'm honest. I'm surprised no one's come in for him. What are the values of those goalkeepers? Kelleher, I don't really think is anything more than 15 million. He's hardly played for Liverpool, really. And when he has, he's done very well. But he's not, you don't think, wow, he's going to be a number one for like West Ham or Newcastle or Villa or Everton, is he? You know what I mean? So he'll be about 15 million, I suppose. Ortega, I think you've got to be looking towards sort of 30 million pounds for him, if I'm honest. Maybe even a bit more because he's been phenomenal when he's coming from Manchester City. Let's take this one from Niffin. Says, hey, Dan, I don't think Don't you think we need at least 2 attacking players? With Jesus injured and Nelson clearly not being trusted, we only have 4 attacking players. I think we should go for Dingra and Kingsley Coman. Listen, Kingsley Coman is a no from me, personally, because I just feel like the injury record is crazy. I don't think we can be dealing with taking a punt on someone who's going to be injured this much. It was absolutely crazy, personally, to be looking at that injury record and just wincing at it. So he's not for me. Adingra is a very interesting player and one that I do quite like, but I'm not too sure that it's one that I believe we should go for. But again, we're linked with so many players, it actually becomes quite confusing, to be fair. Ali D, big up, bro, says, didn't the Supervans tell us once that we get Champions League qualification, we'll get world-class players, and we're still waiting? Yeah, listen, I don't know why they said that, Edu and Arteta. They said that we'll sort out this squad and then we'll sprinkle it with gold dust and world-class players. You can't ever say that because you can't predict what you're going to be in the next few years. Like, honestly, I really don't know why they said that. It was a stupid thing to say. And they might actually be regretting that. I think that statement. It was a mad thing to say. It really was. This one comes in from Michael. Says, Dan, do you think Nwaneri will get many appearances this season? I actually do think he'll play in the Carabao Cup. Obviously, Arsenal have just been drawn in the Carabao Cup against Bolton at home. It does look like there'll be an opportunity for some of the kids to play there. Lewis Skelly, I imagine, will get some minutes, even Nwaneri. But then actually you look at it and you think our backup squad might not be so bad. Unfortunately, up top is very weak at the moment. But hopefully the transfer window will allow us to do something about that. We're obviously going to have a backup goalkeeper that we're bringing in. So he'll play in the Carabao Cup, I imagine. We're going to have Tommy Asu when he's fit, available. Timber, Calafiori, Kivior now, who looks like he's staying. Partey, Jorginho, Ethan Nwaneri, Lewis Skelly, Martinelli, and then Gabriel Jesus when he's fit. So you add 2 players to that I hope we're going to be getting. And we have got ourselves a pretty strong squad, but we do need to bring them in. We really, really do need to bring them in. So, listen, this isn't a crisis. Some of the Arsenal fans have been meltdown saying we're in crisis. We're not in crisis. We've got a very good squad, and we will be up there. But getting over the line is what we need. And at the moment, we haven't got the squad to get us across the line. But we've got to do in the next 48 hours what needs to be done to allow that. CS says, what about signing Depay on a free? Not for me, mate. Not for me. I think that there's other options that we can get, and I don't want to be saving money and getting people on a free all the time. For me, it's about going and getting a Gyökeres or somebody like that up top for me. This one comes in and says, do you actually reckon 48 hours is enough to get our business done? We've got Edu in charge, not Jack Bauer. I love that. Jack Bauer 24. Oh my goodness, that was one of my favorite programs and probably still is one of my favorite box sets around. I absolutely love it, man. I must say. Yeah, listen, 48 hours is no time at all. When it's taken us 6 to 7 weeks to get Calafiori and Marino, it's no time at all, trust me. Particularly when we're trying to sell players as well as buy them. We've got to trust Edu and Arteta. And I tell you this now, if this transfer window shuts and I look at our squad and I go, do you know what? That's phenomenal. We've covered every single position. I'll hand my hands up and go, that's a bloody 8 or 9 out of 10 window. That's phenomenal. Look at it. We've covered every position. We're pretty much sorted. No excuses. Let's go win the league or a trophy or whatever it be that you want expectation-wise this season. If it shuts and we can't say that, on their heads be it. And when I say their heads, I don't mean Mikel Arteta. I don't mean Edu. I don't mean Richard Garlick. I don't mean the Cronkies. I mean every single damn one of them. That's what I mean. Because every time we speak or hear anything from these guys, they're saying we're all in together. It's all of our jobs. The Cronkies are the owners. They're responsible. Edu's responsible for transfer negotiations. Arteta's responsible for what players he wants. Everybody is involved in this. So on their heads be it, man. On their heads be it. Let's get this sorted. This one comes in from Matt. Says, Dan, are you happy with the League Cup draw? Bolton at home will hopefully mean we get to see the youngsters shine. Yeah, likewise, I've just mentioned, bro, I absolutely agree with you. I think it's a good draw, and I think it's an opportunity for us to rotate in that game for sure. But let me tell you this now. I want to take that seriously, that cup. I really do. North London forever. Big up, my bro. Big up to Steve. Says, Dan, I'm so stressed. As we both know, without a Gyökeres, Williams, Osimhen, etc., will not win the league. Do you think behind the scenes Edu is close to signing one? Yes, I do. Honestly, I do. Because I just think he has to be. There is no other excuse as to why we're having a big clear out, 48 hours to go, bringing nobody in. You can't tell me that we're going to be like, yeah, do you know what? Get rid of Eddie, get rid of Fabio Vieira, get rid of Smith Rowe, get rid of Reece Nelson, get rid of Ramsdale, and then we'll be good. Oh, who are you bringing in? Oh, no, we're not bringing anyone in. Come on, that's going to be silly. There's no way that's happening, bro. I really would be stunned if that happens. Sleeping Dragon, would you have taken Chiesa at Arsenal, Dan? Do you know what? If you keep him fit, it's a very good player. 26 years old, highly talented, fantastic in the Euros. But for me, injury records, just like Kingsley Coman, not for me. Those two players, I think, now need to try and play for a team who's in a position to try and take a punt on them. And Arsenal are trying to win a league, not trying to get back into the Champions League by taking a punt. I think Liverpool he could be perfect for if he's fit. If he's better than Diaz and Gakpo and Nunez, that's for sure when he's fit. So I think there's an opportunity for you to get something out of him. And it's actually a good signing, but you need to keep him fit, man. And that's going to be difficult. If it says, hey, Dan, thoughts on our EFL round? Yeah, we've mentioned about Bolton, so we can move on from that one. Have I missed any others? No, I don't think I have, which is good. There's one there, and that's it. Right, let's take these last few questions before we do come to a close. Ali D says, do you think it's a deadline day, panic day signings incoming for Raheem Sterling, another goalkeeper from the Brazilian 4th division with Edu's brown envelope attached? Listen, Ali, I have no idea who we're bringing in. But if we bring in Raheem Sterling, I'll be really pissed. Really pissed. So, yeah, I don't think that one's happening, Raheem Sterling. That's for sure. Okay, let's take this next one, which comes in from Yazinho. What a name. Are you worried about Martinelli's form? Would Marino help his form? Yeah, I've mentioned this a few times on stream that I think our left-hand side actually needs some sustainability. We need to be aware of our right-hand side and how good that is and try and replicate that on our left. It needs to be symmetrical now because we're very lopsided. We've got a fantastic left centre-back in Gabriel, fantastic left-back now in either Timber or Calafiori, a brilliant holding midfielder in Rice, and then obviously a left 8 in Marino, Martinelli or Trossard on the left, and hopefully we get that striker in, and then our left-hand side is just as good as our right. That's what we need to be looking at now. So I've got no excuses if we bring in the right players that could be a really good opportunity for Martinelli. And you know what? If it isn't, and he has them players in place and he still can't pick up his form, we've got to look at Martinelli and get kind of worried. That's for sure. So let's hope ain't going to be the case. Fabrizio Romano has apparently said that Arsenal is still in the market for a winger opportunity, but it may depend on the future of Reece Nelson. And I actually agree. If Reece Nelson stays, we will not get a winger. If Reece Nelson goes, I am sure we've got something lined up, that there's a potential for us to bring somebody in. Who is that player? I really do not know. How are we doing on likes? There's well over 900 people in here. We've only got 331 likes. That means there's nearly 600 of you that have not hit the like button. Come on, people. If you appreciate these late night shows and my morning shows, then please make sure you do me a favor and hit that like button and hit the subscribe button because there's an opportunity for us to try and get as close as we can this evening to 30K. So please make sure that we can get there. At least get us to 24 first. Or to 25 first, I should say, which will be the first target. But yeah, 30 is the target for now. So please make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Much appreciated indeed. Last few questions then. Aziz has said, tell Lee Judges to call his best men they do to sign a striker or attacker. Listen, I was with him today and we were talking about it. There's going to be a couple of bits of content that drop over the next coming days of myself and Lee outside the Emirates talking about this very thing. He has spoken to Edu and he has said that we will be signing players and we will be happy. So let's make sure we are happy in the next 48 hours. That is something we absolutely need to make sure that happens. Mark, big up, bro. Hope you're well, mate. Ain't seen you for a while. Heard from you in a while on here, so I hope you're well, Mark. Make sure you are following Mark Taylor on Twitter. Always on Twitter Spaces, always chatting Arsenal. Good, big up, Mark. Is the Arsenal online fan base the easiest to get to have a meltdown? Do you know what? I would say you're probably right, bro. I would say that Arsenal, Liverpool, Chelsea, and Manchester United are probably the one. The old school Champions League top four. The Champions League top four that always used to be before Man City existed. That is who I'd say, probably. Yeah, I'd probably go as far to say as those four, to be honest with you. I don't know why we're having a meltdown yet. It's got to shut before we have a meltdown, right? We've got to look at it first. We have a meltdown. Just don't make yourself look silly. Don't go on this massive rant about how crap everyone is. And then, What's happened here? We've signed 3 players. Whoops, I've gone a bit early. So let's just hold the horses. Dan, mate, do you generally think we're going to sign anyone, says Patrick? We need a centre forward, a backup for Saka and Odegaard. And Friday night, the window's shut. I've got a bad feeling about this. What do you think, bro? Well, listen, Patrick, first of all, thank you so much for becoming a member, because that really does mean the world. Thank you so, so much. If you would like to become a member like Patrick, please make sure you do go and hit like, subscribe, and join. The join button is next to like and subscribe. And you can then follow and become a member of 12th Man and bring yourself into the 12th Man community. If you would like to do that, then please make sure you do. To answer your question, though, Patrick, that you kindly answered, yes, of course, I'm worried. I'm worried because we've not got much time left. And it looks like we're trying to sell 4 or 5 players, and it looks like we're only going to be potentially bringing 1 in, if that. So it looks as if that we're going to be a little bit short. However, all we can do, bro, is sit back, relax, kick back and say, Edu and Arteta, over to you. It's shut. And wow, look at what we've got. And that's what we hope we say when that window shuts. Of course, you've mentioned there about backups needed for Odegaard and Saka. I agree with you. And obviously a centre forward. Looks like there's a lot of work to do. And that is why I've titled it that exactly. Big up to yourself, though, Patrick. Thank you for becoming a member. Matt says, Dan, do you think the number 10 and 14 shirts will be empty this season? Or do you think a new signing, some of the current squad will take them? Havertz 14 up your street. Look, none of the current squad are going to be taking the number 10 and the number 14. I know a lot of people are obsessed with Martin Odegaard having it. I don't quite get that. He wants to be the number 8, it seems. His number 8 shirt is very, very similar to the replica of Mikel Arteta. There's a very, kind of nice image of them both with their number 8 shirts. I think he wants to stay as number 8. I believe that we could get one player in that could bring the number 14 or 10 shirt. But if I'm honest with you at the moment, I really don't know who that's going to be, man. I really don't have a clue. I would love to be 14 Isak. That would be what I want. But I don't think that's going to happen. I really don't. Listen, people, we're going to leave it there. You guys have been absolute legends. There's nearly 1,000 people here, man, and it's past my bedtime nearly. So I'm going to have to get up in the morning soon and then prepare the morning show, of course. So make sure you join me. I'll be live around about 8:45. I always say 8:30, but I always goes towards 8:45. But I will be live tomorrow morning. So please make sure you hit like and subscribe and hit the notification bell so you do not miss a show. Please make sure that you do that. And also, please make sure if you would like to, then hit the join button and become a member of the channel, just like Patrick has tonight. If you didn't watch it earlier, please go check out one of the most heated shows that I've ever done. Yes, in fact, it was nuts. Earlier on, This Is London. Wow. I've never seen them all rattled so much, but it was absolutely beautiful to watch. Please make sure that you go and check that one out, the previous video, This Is London. And yeah, we will see you in the morning, people. Take it easy. And as always, up the Arsenal. Laters.